Oh my God. Look who it is. We unearthed an ancient relic from the past. I'm the old one, and I'm the old one. So that's me. Hi, Arjuna. Arjuna is here. I can't believe this. How you doing, man? How you doing? You reached out to me and was like, hey, want to catch up? And I said, let's do it live. Fuck it, we do it live. That kind of thing.
I'm so game. I mean, this is basically how we always did it back in the day. For anyone who doesn't know the history, we actually had a podcast together for a number of years. And I'm glad that we're just picking it up right where we left off, man. It feels so good to be back in this chair chatting.
In fact, if you are, because they're not gone, they might be dormant, but they're not gone. If you are a crafty of the old ways, if you remember the ArenaCraft podcast, it's been like 2 years since we made one of these, and that was a holiday episode. So leave a comment. Do you know every time I make something close to a podcast, I get comments, where's Arjuna? Bring back Arjuna every time. Yeah.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah,
man.
It's true. Every time. So this one's for those guys. This one's for you guys.
Yeah, this is for all the crafties, those still out in the craft nation, maybe waiting for like Gandalf and Aragorn to come back someday. That day is today.
Which one of us is Gandalf?
I mean, of course it's you, my friend. Of course. Come on. Who would question? A quick technical question. I just realized I'm not wearing any headphones. Should I solve that particular problem? Is that going to be an issue? No, it's not an issue for me. Okay.
You are totally cool. I don't hear any microphone bleed. We're good.
Okay, excellent. All right, just wanted to make sure. So yeah, I mean, well, that itself is an indication I'm a little rusty in the old content creation scheme. But I know that you have not let your foot off the gas pedal at all. If anything, it seems like you've just been diversifying, right?
The foot is fully on the gas pedal. There's been no slowdowns. I was thinking the other day about what it would take a slowdown to slow things down a bit, but now it's like there's a lot of people that like work on these projects, right? And like they have to pay for their Christmas gifts, right? And there's a lot of people that enjoy content, especially around the holidays, and people that don't have a bunch of family things to do that kind of rely on content. So it was like, nah, can't do it, man. There's no slowing down in my particular world. Today, I'm sending off my first box to CoolStuffInc.com full service selling. That is CoolStuffInc.com/FSS full service selling. Yep, that's it. And it was really super easy to do. You can go get these priority mail flat rate boxes at any post office or order them online. Now, what I'm going to do is they just gave me an address. It has an order number at the top and then an address. And I'm gonna write that on there. You can print a label. I'm going to Sharpie it right on there. I'm going to put on a return address that you don't get to see because I'm not self-doxing. And this box, this is bulk of bulk. But there's a lot of cards in here. So this is a ton of bulk I had lying around the shop that I wasn't sure what to do with. I'm not expecting a lot of money for it, but I will give you an update in a week or so, like when I find out what I get for it. And I'll let you guys know if it's worth the shipping cost. The shipping cost is looking to be about $19.25, something like that, to ship this flat rate box in the US of A. So I'm trying out CoolStuffInc.com full service selling. I will have an update on what I got for my bulky bulk, and I'll also do a box where I send in a little more shiny stuff, maybe a few rares that I pulled and things of that nature, and see how that comes out. And we're gonna see if it's worth it to send in these flat rate boxes. They don't actually know I'm doing this. They're a sponsor of the show, and I'm going to review them fairly, and I'm going to feature their stuff because I'm excited about it, but they don't know this is happening. So I'll give you an update probably in a week or so once they process this order, and we're gonna find out how much my bulk is worth using CoolStuffInc.com full service selling. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to try it yourself. Now back to the video. But what's your world been like? Like we haven't heard from you in a few years. I'm sure some people want to know what you've been up to or what you're willing to share. I'm sure others want to know if you still play Magic or what your relationship with Magic is right now.
Oh, man, it's funny. Adult life is funny, right? Because sometimes you'll ask someone like, how have the last 2 years been? And they'll be like, no updates, right? They'll be like, my kids are still kids. My job's still a job. I'm still married.
They don't even know what happened in the last 2 years. Like they think about it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh God, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like imagine what happened. That's probably what happened. But no, that is not. My life has been an interesting little roller coaster. So I've had many twists and turns. Let's see. I think the last time I was talking with you, I had a new job.
Mm-hmm.
Which was that was like one of your classic, like, demanding like 40 plus hours a week salary kind of jobs. And I was flying all over the world. It was a very like business meeting oriented kind of a thing. So that was one of the handful of reasons why you and I decided to wind down the podcast.
It was hard to schedule with somebody who's in Abu Dhabi, like, on our usually recording day, trying to figure out what times. Yeah, that was a big part of it.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I think it was like when one of us was doing it, it was whatever, but then you were also just going to conferences every weekend. So it's a wild thing, man. So yeah, anyway, that job ended, and I actually, it's interesting. I found myself in a position where I was like, wow, I could actually take a break. And
oh no,
as I'm sure you're feeling, like when you have a moment like
Okay.
that where it actually makes sense to take a break, I mean, for crying out loud. Yeah. So, because I've been working for maybe like 8 years or something, just nonstop building my career, and I felt pretty satisfied with that. But it was like, a few vacations. I mean, burning the candle, I was freelancing a lot of that time. And so I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to chill for a little while. So I did.
Sounds really nice. What kind of
Yeah.
a chill break was that? Like, how long was that?
Well, so, I mean, okay, here's the funny thing, and I'm sure you can relate to this, right? Folks, creators, and people with ideas such as yourself and myself, are we ever like really taking a break? You know what I mean? Are we ever really, there's always some hamster kind of running, right?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, and so I was chilling. I was definitely not working a lot, but I was also I got linked up with a bunch of people in my last job who do social media advertising. And I was like, this is something I've always been curious about. So I actually started running a social media advertising agency.
Wait, you went straight from this is something I'm curious about to you running the agency?
Well, I mean,
there might have been a step or two in there.
I mean, here's the thing, man. You can call a lot of things an agency. I mean, my agency was literally like me sitting in my chair, running ads on Facebook, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's a wild world these days, man. You can make money doing a lot of different things. So yeah, I mean, that's basically when I have been working, I've been focusing on that.
It's time for the worst possible holiday party this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Drip Shop Live. We're going to be celebrating a fabulous year of the Worst Possible Commander show by giving away 2 whole boxes of collector boosters of Foundation. Also, every new account gets a signing bonus between $10 and $250 to spend on anything they want on the site. That's like free money! And we are auctioning off spots to our special booster packs, which are going to contain some of the blingiest pulls I've had this year. We're also celebrating Dripcember. If you open a Japanese showcase in your Foundation Collector Booster Pack that you won, you get an extra special bounty from Drip Shop Live. So if you want a chance to win some cool prizes and hang out with the crew, come to Drip Shop Live this Sunday at 2 p.m. That's Sunday, December 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there. You're cool.
as I'm sure you can imagine from your experience on YouTube, a lot of success doing stuff like that is like the algorithm and how do you work with the algorithm. And of course, when you're selling stuff, it's, you know, who wants the stuff and do you have your market fit and how are your creatives? And if you think, you know, on Facebook, the equivalent of like the YouTube thumbnail, right? Like the title and the thumbnail of your YouTube video determines a shockingly large amount of how well it does, right?
Tremendously, yes.
Right. So there's actually a lot of parallels, I would think, between YouTube content creation and like social media advertising. So, you know, you get like when you're on Facebook, when you're on Instagram, all of those annoying ads that everyone hates. Yes, I am buying those. I'm buying that ad space. And yeah, you got to come up with your ad. You got to come up with your creative. You got to come up with your headline. And if I'm successful, then I make money and the people that I'm promoting make money.
Thank Arjuna every time you or your significant other just has to click that thing that you know you shouldn't be clicking that showed up in your Facebook feed that's clearly an ad.
Oh my gosh.
Well done, dude. Well done.
I never thought that my life's path would lead me here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's, you know, like no one in fourth grade or whatever imagines their future and thinks, I'm going to be in advertising. You know, it's not really a thing, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's actually pretty interesting. You know, it's like, I think one of the things I like about it is that I'm just fascinated by human behavior, right? How people think, what motivates people. Right.
You have to like understanding advertising, being good at advertising is understanding what people really want, not what they say they want, not what they pretend they want, what they really want. And it requires you to see human beings differently because they don't want the same things you want. Like you have to step outside of your own box so much, and sometimes it's amazing to realize what most people, whatever your target audience is, actually want.
I mean, you nailed it. I mean, literally my marketing mantra is it's not for me, it's for them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's so funny because just a simple example, there's a lot of stuff that still sells really well on websites that look like they were made in the 90s, right? I mean, you throw up a website and it looks like some Angel Fire nonsense from back in the day.
God,
right?
I have Angel Fire. I haven't heard that in forever.
Minute, right?
I built this on GeoCities. I'm ready for e-commerce now.
You know, it's got embedded MIDI in it and stuff. But anyway, and you'd be shocked at how well websites like that do. And you know why? It's because there are a lot of people who are retired or, you know, who are just older than you and myself, who they're the people who have money. They're the people who buy things. And what do you know? When they see a website that looks like the internet looked when they first got into it, it makes them feel reassured. It makes them feel, you know, like, oh, I recognize this. I'm not getting scammed from this. And it's so ironic, right? Because the younger generations feel the exact opposite. They see something like that.
I haven't heard from a prince in Nigeria in years. It's so nice to hear from them again. I sent them so much money. I always wondered what happened to it.
Such a good little lad.
True. So, wow.
So yeah, so it really is. It's you have to get rid of your preconceptions and you have to look at what actually works, and then you just got to double down on that.
And in your quest to be a marketing maestro in your new pursuits, does it leave any time for gaming? Do you have any? Have you been able to keep up with any games for the last few years? Or because I've been in that self-employed bank, and that was during the period of time where I played very little Magic, was when I was self-employed and doing e-commerce on the internet for those years of my life.
Yeah. So I've had the time, I've had the space, but not much the inclination to do a lot of gaming. I think that's partially because, I came out of several periods of heavy gaming and heavy content creation. Before our podcast, I was doing a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds podcast, and that was a similar kind of an investment. It was basically gaming and making content was definitely a part-time job. So it's actually felt nice to take a little break from gaming. I also got a little bit burned out on Magic, which I know, shocker, it can happen.
I can't tell you like how much I'm walking that burnout line, and a big reason why I make as many videos like this where I'm just talking with a friend as possible is a big part of that. But I know that was part of why we had to set the podcast aside, and it also didn't seem like Arena was exciting anymore. It did feel like it was the Wizards, that they were going to ignore it now in favor of pushing various shiny pieces of paper, right?
Yeah. I think I was worried that it was going to go the way of the Modo, and
that's good.
And I think I log in periodically, and I'm glad to say that my impression is that it definitely hasn't. Actually, my impression is that. So this is what I did in preparation for this podcast last night. I logged in.
You hit the forgot password button. You reset your password, and you clicked through 12 screens of like banned cards and adjusted cards.
And random packs of sets I don't even know about. But the thing that immediately got my attention was Pioneer Masters, and I mean, I literally lurched forward in my chair. I was like, oh my God, they finally did it. They finally gave the people what they want. But I don't know, CGB. It's time for you to tell me, did they actually give the people what they want?
If enough people want Pioneer on Arena and they'll actually convert over from Modo and paper and play it on Arena, then the answer is yes. Kind of a cop-out answer. I think that remains to be seen, because Explorer is one of the least played formats on Arena. It's been it was at the bottom for years, and then they created Timeless, and Timeless have you heard of what Timeless is?
It's like the vintage of Arena. Is that what it is?
Yeah, everything's legal. Like everything's available. Wow. Nothing like is
no bans.
Yeah, the things that would be banned are restricted. So there's a restricted list that's like 4 cards, I think. I actually. This is fun. I'll do this in a second. I'm going to ask you what the cards you think are restricted and Timeless are, but it's going to be funny. Right. And I'll give you hints. But first, we'll have the Explorer conversation. So Timeless was created, and they literally found a format less played than Explorer. That's Timeless's claim to fame. It's a little under Explorer, but Explorer is still one of the least played formats. So they have enough to make what they claim are like all of the important decks in Pioneer. And I think there are a couple cards. I think Jim Davis made a good YouTube video pointing out a few cards that didn't actually make the cut that should have. I think the bigger issue right now with Pioneer. Oh, and they made it draftable, so maybe that's exciting for you for some boomer draftees.
Extremely exciting to me.
But the thing is that a lot of the cards in Pioneer Masters are completely unplayable in Pioneer, because the format of Pioneer has completely started revolving around current standard. It's like current standard with a few cards that should have never been made is what Pioneer is right now.
Are we kind of back to like the draining of the Magic world? Is that kind of what's happening?
Yes. Yes. Bloomburrow and Duskmourn, I think, were well-made sets for standard, because a lot of the themes that made the cards too powerful were contained within each individual set. So if your deck is built around a powerful Bloomburrow card, it's mostly Bloomburrow cards, and it doesn't get a lot of support from other standard sets. The problem when you take that to Pioneer is you have the OP Bloomburrow cards, and then you have a few cards from the last decade plus of Magic that push it over the top, right? And then there's still the centerpiece of the deck. Like, oh my gosh. Have you seen like Red Leyline of Resonance?
I saw that it was banned when I fired up Arena.
They banned a ley
And
line, baby. They did it.
And I mean, to the surprise of not me, I guess. I mean, I looked at it and I thought, well, that could obviously be busted in some way. So I
Yeah.
didn't really, yeah. But was there a particular combo that really set it off?
Oh, not really, but you just took Heartfire Hero, the mouse that you might have seen adjusted in Alchemy to have zero power. They just took Heartfire Hero and combined it with some number of pump spells, the limited all-star pump spells that are now pushed to the moon, that they banned one in Alchemy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just pump it and you could win on turn 2 in standard. Turn two. Yep.
Okay.
Wasn't even very hard, with multiple lines to get there. There were multiple ways to get the job done. It wasn't even like you have to have this one card and this one card. It was a repeatable offense. Somebody ran the math, and it could be expected that you could threaten a turn 2 lethal in 20% of games. And that is just for a turn 2 lethal. I mean, you don't have to win on turn 2 to be a good deck. If you win on turn 3 and turn 4 consistently, you can be a tier 1 deck, and it did. And they banned it in best of 1. It's still legal in best of 3, and the reason that works is because best of 3 is just so loaded with Doomblades, dude. It's Phyrexian Arenas and Doomblades all the way down. That is what the best of 3 format is. There are various ways to put it together, but that's the core of the format. Doomblades and Phyrexian Arenas.
Oh my, the irony of that, right, is that we're playing 2024 Magic, but we're also playing, what is that, 2015 Magic, or 2012 Magic, or whatever. Yep. So that's, the story of Magic in some ways.
In some ways. But yeah. Explorer is not, it will be curious to see if it gets an uptick now that it's Pioneer. I honestly feel like they're just making good on a promise, and that they had hopes for Pioneer that just aren't being realized, because the format is, dude, it really is like standard plus. Actually, did they ban something today? Oh, we are recording this, by the way, on Monday the 16th. I think there was a ban announcement today.
There was a banning today.
Oh my gosh.
Content, baby.
Do you remember when we would run to the computer and immediately hit record and just go as soon as there was a ban?
I remember it well, my friend. That was the cornerstone of our early content creation relationship.
Yes. Jump on those bans, hop all over those bans. The beginning of our social media marketing agency could have easily been like, jump on the bans as soon as you can jump on the bans. What the people really want. Oh my God. I mean, do you mind if we just cover this ban announcement? I didn't look.
Dude. I mean, this is what I came ready to do. So let's go.
The only person who could summon such bans and cover such bans. So this is Boomer ban announcement. There is nothing banned in standard.
Yeah.
There is one card banned in Pioneer. Let's see if you can get there. This card costs 5 mana. CMC 5. Yeah. This card, Pioneer. Yes. You can either take a shot or you can say next hint. We'll just keep getting closer.
Well, how about I'll take a shot, and then if I fail, you can give me another hint.
Perfect. I
don't know. Bring to Light.
No. This card is a 5-color card.
Oh, Niv Mizzet? That was going to be my next guess.
No.
No. Okay.
No. This card is a 5/5.
Gigantha?
Yes!
Whoa!
They banned Gigantha in Pioneer.
Now, okay, remind me, you could still run Gigantha as your companion, right?
Yes. Yep.
And is that why they banned it?
I believe so. Let's talk about it. Let's see here. Pioneer. Gigantha the Wellspring is banned. We have monitored the Pioneer metagame closely since our last ban and restricted announcement, and it has looked healthy and diverse. Oh, this is the part where they pat themselves on the back for a few sentences. Okay, hold on. While deck diversity looks good, we believe Gigantha the Wellspring is hurting the format's diversity by reducing the pool of cards viable for many decks.
It's the classic, like, it's too good to not run it, and then you can't run all of these other cards kind of companion problem, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it looks like classic companion things. Gigantha is played in many Pioneer decks, appearing as a companion in most decks that can cast it and don't have key cards that violate its restriction. The value of having access to an extra card in games where resources are tight means most decks that can play Gigantha do, regardless of how it fits into their strategy. I mean, yeah, this is classic, like, why did they make companion discussion?
Oh my gosh, I know. It's like the Kahira problem, right? It's the same thing. It's just free.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I guess we got to do it. Yeah. I don't think we need to read a ton more of that.
No.
It is wild. There's a lot of paragraphs about each format in this ban announcement, and there is a lot of, like, we did good patting on the back kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
You gotta love that, right?
Yeah.
It's like okay, it's like you're fighting with your wife, right? And it's time for you to apologize, and you come in and you're like, listen, honey, I know I just got promoted at work, and I know I've been really cleaning the house a lot lately, and you know how I just gave you a foot massage last night. But having said all that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep. It's the buttering up for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that's Pioneer. That's the only arena format getting a change here. And then, like I said, this is some boomer stuff. This is some very boomer stuff. Modern? You want to talk modern?
Sure, let's go there.
Okay. There are 4 unbans and 3 bans.
4 unbans.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jace the Mind Sculptor one of the unbans, or did they already unban that one?
That was unbanned in Modern a few years ago.
Okay. Let me think about what else. Manamorphose?
Manamorphose is not on this list.
Okay.
Hints?
Let me think.
Hints?
You know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get into it.
You're doing great. All right. The casting cost of one of these is 0.
God, you'd think that would make it obvious, but I've just been out of the game so long, man. Is it that Saga land that does all kinds of random crap?
Oh God, it's not Urza Saga. No.
Urza Saga. No. Okay.
This Affinity, the deck Affinity got this banned.
Oh yeah. What's it called?
It has
Mishra's.
It has the
Bauble?
ability Metalcraft.
Oh God. I think this is before my time. I don't think I'm going to remember what this card is.
Some of these, like I said, boomer announcement. The Mox Opal is unbanned. Mox Opal.
Oh, Mox Opal. Holy crap. Okay, wait. Remind me what that one did.
0 mana artifact, Metalcraft, tap for 1 mana of any color. So if you have 3 artifacts in total, it's a free mana.
Okay. Yep. That's not busted at all.
I have a playset of them, and I'm happy. Those might go back to $100.
Yeah, baby, stonks.
Okay. So here's a green card that's unbanned. Its casting cost is green and an X.
Green and an X. Oh, is it like a Berserk style card?
I would not describe it as a Berserk style card. I would describe it as a tutor card.
Oh, Chord? Is it Chord of Calling?
It is similar to Chord of Calling.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the name of the card.
Green Sun Zenith, maybe?
Yes.
That card. Absolutely. Don't worry. Right. Don't worry. You're doing great. We're tuning you up.
I'm gonna get one of them.
I know you know this card.
Okay.
This card is a red card.
All right.
This is being unbanned in Modern. It has flashback.
Flashback. CGB, I feel like an 80-year-old person with dementia right now.
The flashback is 2 in a red.
2 in a red flashback. Red card?
It has the text "draw 2 cards" on it.
Obviously, faithless looting.
There he
faithless
is.
looting. We got
There
there.
he is unbanned.
All
it's
right.
unbanned. Oh my gosh.
So that puts Phoenix back on the menu.
In Modern, is Phoenix good enough? I think it's more like a graveyard combo. I think it's going to be more. Yeah, I think it's going to be more like Delve Dredge win the game on turn 3 in Modern.
I'm trying to remember what got it banned. Was it the whole like Hogak fiasco, or was it something else?
What did get Faithless Looting banned in Modern? That's a good question. It's been a long time.
I thought it might have been Phoenix, right? Wasn't Phoenix on top for a hot minute?
Yeah, Phoenix was targeted a few ways, but was it in Modern? I feel like it was always a Pioneer thing, but Phoenix was a dangerous deck before Pioneer. Maybe it was Modern Phoenix that got it banned. I think you might be right. They'll let us know in the comments. I'll check this later and I'll get an education. Yeah. Because I don't play a ton of the old formats, so I get surprised sometimes.
Okay, is the 4th card Treasure Cruise?
It is not.
Okay.
The 4th card, though, this is dude, the boomers have been asking for this. Like I have been seeing this in comments and message boards since I started making content. People asking for this card to get unbanned.
Okay. Wait, let me think. Is it Liliana of the Veil?
It is not.
Okay.
It is also a red card.
Wait, I feel like I should know this.
I bet you do.
It's what type is it? What card
it's
type?
An enchantment.
Oh,
aura.
It's an aura. Okay, I got nothing. This is before my time.
It is Splinter Twin. Splinter Twin is unbanned.
Oh my goodness.
They're gonna bring it back.
Twin. That's like the original. It's the original unbanning, right?
The big banning that everybody was like, why? It's not winning that much. People love Splinter Twin, dude. Yeah, the infinite combos. I mean, there's probably more ways to Splinter Twin now than there ever were. But Deceiver, Exarch, and Pestermite Splinter Twin combo was just 2-card lethal back in the day.
Is Kiki Jiki in Modern?
Is Kiki Jiki in Modern? You come with the questions. Let's see. Is Kiki Jiki in Modern?
For you, my
man.
That's
fair. Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker is legal in Modern. Yes.
It is legal in Modern. Okay.
Yep. So I can't believe Splinter Twin, though. Like, if you're talking about 2-card win the game combos, this is one of the more awkward ones. 4-mana aura, you've gotta like really pave the way for this. And now you're in a format full of 0-mana interaction, like subtleties and flares. And why is this still banned?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But at the same time, it's one of those things where, like, did we really need to unban it? It's like, did they really? I guess, there's a way in which Magic is all about, you have these entrenched little pockets of people who have a particular hill that they're dying on. And if you get to make those people's day every once in a while, I guess that's kind of what Magic is all about, isn't it? Yeah,
once every couple of years, like you release a card or unban a card that makes their day, and then you have somebody who spends an absurd amount of money and attends your events and grinds in all of the queues online for the next decade. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess they know exactly what they're doing. Who knows? Maybe they even anticipated this back when they first made the decision. But
there's no way.
Let's talk about this. I think this is really interesting. And I wonder if Modern's kind of the perfect format for it as well, where you think about the concept of the unbanning, right? Most of the time, vast majority of the time, when something gets banned, it's just gone, right?
Yeah.
It gets sucked into the blind eternities, never to return. And I think In some ways for good reason, because it's kind of like, okay, we know this card is a problem, and it's not like we're not printing new cards, right? It's, Magic does not have a printing new cards problem. And so, it's kind of a simple decision for them, right? And I think that it's an interesting reflection on the state of Magic and how power creep comes along, that you've got all of these cards getting unbanned in Modern, right? I remember when, what's the equipment card that got banned? The creature.
The equipment creature that got banned.
Yeah.
In Modern? Stoneforge Mystic?
Stoneforge Mystic, right?
Okay.
Was banned in Modern. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sitting here thinking of like reconfigure stuff from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty when you say equipment creature, but no, it's the creature that gets the
you
equipment.
Gotta get more boomer.
Yeah,
you gotta get more boomer. So when they unbanned Stoneforge Mystic in Modern, right? That was like a big splash. That was a big kind of like, has power creep gotten to the point where we can unban Stoneforge Mystic? And now, it just seems like, I mean, what do we, like this is what I'm wondering is like, when does Oko get unbanned, right? Like, you know what I'm like this? I'm looking into the future.
I could see it.
Think about this.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
Because think about Jace the Mind Sculptor. I'm sure when that was banned, people were like, "Never again."
That's right. Thank God.
They couldn't handle it, right? And now it's like, is anyone even playing it in that format? I don't know.
You see it really rarely.
Yeah.
This is so Arena. I play Jace the Mind Sculptor in a lot of blue decks on Arena because it got printed as a Foxy Jace version in a Bloomborough special guest treatment. So now it's legal in Brawl. And so I have Jace the Mind Sculptor in all my blue decks. Card is messed up with fetch lands, dude. It's a messed up card. But yeah, you're right.
Here's my next question. When are we going to see Ren and 6 on Arena?
Ren and 6. Good question. It shouldn't. I mean, honestly, I've been saying this for a while. I think you were there when I first was saying this. Why don't they just put as many people to work as possible putting awesome cards on Arena? They already have the cards. It's reselling us the same things you've already made. There is no design required.
Totally.
Just put the sweet cards on Arena. So yeah, Red and 6 on Arena would be nice. Also really busted with fetch lands. Could be your commander in Brawl. Ooh.
Whoa. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, if something would bring me out of retirement,
it would shut down Ragavan.
Snap! Let's
baby,
go.
Yeah, we'll make a Brawl player out of you yet.
The funny thing is, for the few times that I have come back to Arena since my retirement from the ArenaCraft podcast, I've predominantly focused on playing Brawl. And you know what I have to say, CGB?
I want to hear it so much. I also want to finish. I also want to announce the bands, but I do want to hear this.
So, I mean, all right. Just picture this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Arjuna man, he rolls out of bed. He's got bags under his eyes, I'm drinking my coffee and eating my pastry, and I fire up Arena, and all I want is just a little nostalgia, a little bit of the old good times, remember the heyday, as it were.
Yeah, a little Teamer Adventures.
Yeah, why not? And so I step into the Brawl queue, and almost immediately I'm greeted with Necropotence. What the hell? When did they start putting garbage like Necropotence into my freaking format?
Nostalgia is different for different people, man. Necropotence is my nostalgia. Oh, baby. No. Come on. Who's your Brawl go-to? Who are you queuing up with?
Oh, it's my ride or die, buddy. Cody.
It's Cody.
The Codex.
See, Cody's busted. Cody. So, yeah, you're going to get tough matchups with Cody. It's a busted card.
I mean, I can confidently say I have never consistently had so much fun playing with one deck as I have playing Cody in Historic Brawl. I mean, you can always update that deck. There's always some new nonsense to be done. and redonculating upon all of these memers just trying to, like, I don't know, play Ragavan and get onto you and whatever, and just assembling a crushing end game that they weren't expecting is still what gets me going in Magic.
Yeah, let's be clear. You're complaining about necropotence, but you are not being fair. You are not playing fair Magic. That is not what Cody does.
Okay, no, that's true. But let's think about it. All right. Cody, at the end of the day, is just a creature, just a little book.
An artifact creature at that. It's easy to remove.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a 3-drop. You watch it coming. I feel like if you can't deal with Cody off the bat, your deck is not up to snuff in Historic Brawl. But that was not all CovertGoBlue. So I dusted myself off and I thought, all right, sometimes bad things happen to me. I'm just going to try another game. And you know what happened to be the next game, CovertGoBlue? I got freaking mana drained, dude.
Yeah!
Mana drain?
Yeah!
Are we really doing this? Are we really doing this?
Mana drain's insane.
I mean...
I don't know many... Do you remember back in the day when you told me the card that was winning you the most games in Brawl was Spell Swindle?
Yeah. Oh my God. How could I forget?
Yeah, you were the one who came to me like, you know what's been winning me games of Brawl? Spell Swindle. And I'm like, damn. But it's true. That card, when you hit it at the right time, is an instant concession. Well, Mana Drain is that on turn 2.
I know. Oh my gosh. I mean, and the thing is, like, what it reminds me of is that Magic is not... The strategy of Magic is not in winning the game, it's defeating your opponent, right? And you know this better than anyone, right? Yeah, I think CovertGoBlue's probably won more games of Magic before the game ended than most people in history. And yeah, I can't think of a more demoralizing card than Mana Drain.
Oh yeah. It sucks.
Especially in a format like freaking Brawl or like Commander, right? Because it's such a demoralizing thing where it's like on turn 2 your spell gets countered, and on turn 3 your opponent casts like a 5-mana Commander or something, right? I mean, it's just like, it's so disgusting.
In Commander, it's okay because you have everybody now be like, all right, we kill this person because they got way ahead. So we wreck them. We definitely wreck them. In 1v1, yeah, it's hard to find something that flips a game more brutally than Mana Drain. Like, it is absolutely wild. I'll keep almost any hand with Mana Drain. It doesn't even have to have blue sources. I'm like, I'll draw them eventually, and then I'm just going to get ahead by like 12 mana. It's so fine. It's great.
This is fine.
It's
Everything's
great.
fine.
It's great.
But I guess, like, this is what I don't understand, right? I feel like there are some cards where we've just come to a consensus where, like, these cards suck. They're not fun. No one likes them. They should just be gone. And I don't know why they decided that Historic Brawl was like the place that we were going to take them for a ride again.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on now. People love Mana Drain when they cast it. and you get another mythic out of them because that's how the reprint sheets work. Remember when they printed Brainstorm at Rare? All right. So you got to get those wild cards out of the system somehow. But capitalism, we got to think of the capitalists here, Arjuna.
Think of the hedge fund managers. Let them eat hedge.
Yeah. Hedge them up. Speaking of, I love Brawl Talk. I appreciate Brawl Talk. If people actually didn't know about this ban announcement and they're listening to us to like learn about it, we should cover what is banned, not just what's unbanned. So they banned the One Ring.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah.
All right.
How about that?
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
That actually happened, and there was a lot of talk about, like, I don't know if you heard the conspiracy theories, but there was the Lord of the Rings, like, maybe they have a deal that they will not ban the One Ring with the Tolkien estate, God. Right? Or with Middle Earth Studios.
Sauron himself.
Yeah. With Sauron himself, that they will not ban the One Ring. Because the One Ring was a a very chasey card, very expensive card, and over $100 for portions of last year. As of today, down to $58. So
all right,
on the move.
Hopefully that chart will keep going down.
I have 50-ish One Rings in my collection, so I'm a little...
Okay, so the CovertGoBlue estate is suffering some losses here.
Today. Yeah, tough day. Those Mox Opals have a lot to do to make up for.
Yeah, a lot of work.
All right, do you know what Amped Raptor is?
No, but I can imagine it's like some cheap little like red or green creature that does something silly.
You are correct. Okay. I will send it over to you really quick. I'll also put on screen here. Let's see, where is my other Discord window? There should be two of them. Which one is this? But yeah, Amped Raptor. This is a card that is now banned in modern. Look at this little guy.
Wow, it's an uncommon. Little first striker. Energy.
Man. They brought it back.
Just when we thought frickin' energy wasn't OP anymore, then this nonsense comes along. Yeah, well, of course, that's just total nonsense. I mean,
cast spells for free. What's wrong with that?
Why not?
In a format where most things are
mana. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And what could go wrong? Now what? No. So how are these decks generating the energy? What was the engine?
I mean, there's just honestly, it's just other cards that use energy. There was a whole energy sub theme to Modern Horizons 3, which completely broke and destroyed in its own way Modern and power crept Modern into oblivion. This is a new card. It's a removal spell. It's Harness Lightning, but for one.
Wait. Okay, yeah, sure. Just like halve the casting cost of a powerful card. That's fine.
Yeah. So now when you get energy on your removal spell and you get it on your creature as a draw engine, see, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
I'll bet that land fetch card is still really good, huh? That fetch a land, get 2 energy.
No, nobody plays.
No one plays that?
No.
Oh, well.
Nobody plays a tune with the Aether. No, come on. We have this card.
They just have even better things.
We have this card. Read this card.
Okay. Guide of Souls. Do. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Just play creatures, get energy.
Soul Warden for energy. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah, it's also an outlet if you want to make your creatures fly. By the way, that's permanent flying, by the way.
Oh, yeah, of course. Love it. Why not?
Imagine going back to energy and ruining your quote-unquote powerful, eternal format. Isn't that nice?
You gotta love it, man. It's like like for example, when they started working with Phyrexian mana again, it's clear that like someone maybe as illustrious as Mark Rosewater like sat the children down and said, all right, kids, the first time we did this was a problem. So what are we going to do? It's not going to be a problem. Repeat after me when it's not going to be a problem, right? Did they just forget with energy? I don't know. What happened?
I swear it's the story of life itself, man. Every generation needs their own. Well, the reason it didn't work 20 years ago is because we weren't there and we're smart and we're sophisticated and we understand the problem. We read a book about it. So we won't do it that way. We'll do it better. That's it. That's the reason.
Well, every new generation needs to learn some way. So I guess here we are.
They also banned Gigantha in Modern.
They also ban Gigantha in Modern, which, that is also a proud tradition, isn't it? They take a companion and they say, well, if it was a problem here, come on, it's probably a problem everywhere.
They could just ban the companion zone in 1v1 formats. We could be done with this. We don't have to keep doing this, do we? I mean, we're just waiting for them to have too many good cats to have to ban Kahira. Maybe Kahira is banned. I don't know. Hold on. Is Kahira banned?
I mean,
it's legal. So we'll see. Oh, let me give you another banned card. Read this card. This, by the way, no surprise, is a Modern Horizons 3 card that is banned in Legacy now as of today.
Oh, Psychic Frog. Well, hey, I mean, you gotta love it just based on the art and the name. I'm already enamored of this card. Never it deals. Okay. Draw a card, discard a card. Yep. Exile 3 cards from your graveyard. Okay. So what were people doing? Are they just discarding a whole bunch of cards and killing people? Is that the thing?
I've played Zero Legacy. I would just say, when you're balancing cards like Dark Confidant around life loss, do you really want a creature that grows itself, evades itself, and draws extra cards with every hit? Like, there is nothing you can do in combat to manage this. It's remove it or die.
I mean, that's true. And I mean, here's the thing, right? In Legacy, that's the kind of format where they're like, you want cards? We got cards.
Yep.
You want a stocked graveyard? You got a stocked graveyard.
Yep.
You want counterspell protection that you don't have to pay for? Yeah, you got that too.
Pretty good with Force of Will when they do try to remove it, right?
Yep. So,
not bad.
All right. The funny thing about a card like this is it would actually be kind of a fun card in Standard, wouldn't it?
I mean,
would this be too good for Standard?
I would love to play this card in Standard. I would love it. I would love watching the little red decks freak out. It's kind of funny. It's not banned in Modern yet, so I guess we'll see. But Legacy, it was too much.
It's a powerful ability, isn't it? Discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter, right?
Yeah, remember when Wild Mongrel was good once? Remember Wild Mongrel?
Yeah. So, I mean, I suppose so. This is kind of a combination of things that have tended to be good in Magic.
Yeah, a lot of things.
This is what I love. This is what I love about Legacy, right? Is someone will be like, hey, did you hear there was a card banned in Legacy? And unless you're really dialed into that format, you're like, it could be freaking anything. You know what I mean? It could be just some random commander deck card, right? It could
could be the initiative.
It could be a common. It could be some 4-drop freaking common. I mean, who the frick knows? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Here's another card that just got banned in Legacy.
Oh, I've heard of this card.
Hexing Bauble.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That's a pretty hateful card.
It's kind of wild, right? That a card it's obviously trying to be a guardrail, from just all the, people complain so much about Fury in Modern,
Right.
And they had to ban Grief in Modern, right? So they got rid of a lot of this stuff. I don't know, man. It's pretty wild.
I will say, a card like this, if you have to put a card like this in your format in order for the format to be a thing, I can understand why they removed it, right? Because it's such a blunt object, right? It's like we have a problem and we're just gonna frickin' take a sledgehammer to it, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's hardly the finesse approach. So I can understand that they were just okay, we went a little bit hard on that particular problem.
Yep. It says right here, in the announcement, it says one of the pillars of Legacy is free counter magic, and it's glue that holds the format together.
I mean, there you go.
I mean, if that's what it takes to have combo decks, yeah, they're all these combo decks are part of what keeps certain strategies at bay, so they need it. Yeah. And in Psychic Frog, I didn't know this. They say it's about the strength of Dimir Reanimator, Entomb and Reanimate, powered by Psychic Frog. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Are they reanimating Grizzlebrand? I'm what is this?
Well, that's what I actually, when I looked at that, I was like, man, you could get a big frog if you had Grizzlebrand, right? especially with the life link and all that nonsense. I don't know.
Banned legal in Legacy. Oh my gosh. Oh, now we're cooking. By the way, I have that in a brawl deck that I made a video for today. I have Psychic Frog and Grizzlebrand in it and Reanimate. So it's like we can do all these things. But yeah,
getting yourself banned.
Dude, try Psychic Frog and Brawl. It's pretty good.
I shall.
It's pretty good.
I shall. I mean, I low-key have a crush on that card now.
It's a great little card. Yeah,
Wish
anyway.
It was Simic.
That's to put some green on it. That'll make it good. That's what's going on. So ban announcements, since you kind of stepped back, they've tried to create a schedule for ban announcements. This was a scheduled ban announcement.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. They're supposed to do it like every so many months or whatever for big formats. And I don't fully understand the schedule. I know for standard, it was supposed to be once a year. Like, if you can imagine that, once a year. But
yeah, that'll keep everyone happy.
It'll keep everybody something. So yeah. A lot of changes. Did you hear about this changes to the standard format rotation?
I heard that it was like a 2-year rotation.
It was a 2-year.
Again?
It has changed.
Is it now a 4-year rotation?
God, don't give them ideas. It's 3 years. It's now.
I was like, CGB, the only thing I want to know is Shieldred still legal in standard?
Yes.
All right, get me out of here.
Yes.
I'm leaving.
Yes, he's coming, lost him. He got up and walked away. Just end the show.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Actually, when I really think about it, the card I never want to see again is Atraxa. That's the card I'm just freaking sick to death of.
Well, Atraxa is currently legal in standard. It's still legal in standard. Any other cards you hate that you want to know are still legal in standard?
You told me all I need to know.
Okay.
I'm deep. I retired at the right time, CGB. I think we would have become a brawl podcast.
Dude, it's all I can do to not be a brawl channel, man. People still click on standard videos, especially around the time of new set release. But each new set release is getting harder to make a video with, because no matter what I build with, I'm just facing the same things, no matter what I do. And that was part of why they changed the whole rotation, was that so that your good decks remain legal longer. The problem is there will always just kind of center to the most basic common denominator good deck, and then play that to death. That seems to be the way that the arena player wants to play. Is just find the baseline, most lowest common denominator good deck and play it until their eyes bleed. And
I mean, can you blame them?
Not really. Not really. The economy is brutal. What am I supposed to do? Convince you that you should craft 5 of this new mythic when you're still going to kill me on turn 3 with a red deck? I know. I'm aware, and I complain about it because that's my life, is trying to figure out a way to make standard fun, and I've tried to do it for years. I'm at a bit of a loss lately. On that front. I really am. I'll play the decks that I see do well in events, but they don't do well in best of one, because best of one is its own incredibly narrow format now, even with the bigger card pool. And those cards aren't going away. They will be there for years plural. The year that you weren't podcasting at this point, the year they canceled rotation, they just said nothing's rotating this year so that they could move to the 3-year rotation. They basically said those cards that were going to rotate in fall, they're not.
Wait, it's canceled a 3-year rotation now?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. 3 years. They canceled the rotation that year. I felt like I had my heart ripped out. Rotation, I know you and I share this view, and I know not everybody does now from dealing with other people. to tie it back to the advertising talk at the beginning. Like, you have to learn how other people think. I get it. Not everybody thinks this way anymore. But rotation was the best time, man.
Oh, always.
Always. Small format. Yeah. Those cards that wouldn't have competed in the past compete now. The new cards rise up that you never would have expected. Oh.
I mean, I feel like, okay. I want to talk about this for a little while, actually, because I think it's an interesting point. I'm sure I'm not the first person who's kind of been along this thought line either. But, just about any entrenched Magic player that I know enjoys rotation, right? Because it means new format, right? And I guess when I say entrenched, what I mean is like pros and people who make content, right? Because they thrive on novelty, right? A pro player they're probably excited about a deck long enough to try and win a tournament with it or whatever, right? And then they want something new. And the exception to that is all of these eternal formats where, you have a pet deck and you love that deck and you get to play that deck forever, right? And so Magic really caters to that. And I think that it's been great to have at least one format that is A, of all, popular, and B, of all, he's been waiting. He's been waiting.
You said the thing.
And that B, of all, rotates regularly, right? And so I actually think that was like what made Standard special. And to me, it kind of seems like if you want to play your Atraxa deck, play it in Pioneer. That's kind of, for me, I feel like Pioneer and or Explorer are kind of like the bone that they throw to people who want to do that. And so again, I'm sure I'm not bringing anything new to this conversation, but I think that rotation's kind of like the whole point of Standard.
It feels to me, this reminds me of like when Wizards figured out that Commander was a big deal. Because it was the casual audience. It wasn't the people coming to GPs to play 1v1 eternal format, Magic, grindy, sweaty, whatever you want to call it, the tryhards. And they realized how big, like, that the tryhards at your GP are the tip of an iceberg, and that the rest of the iceberg is more massive than they could have ever fathomed. Like, that, and that Commander was huge. So I think that the theory is that Standard casual players, that is, the Standard players who try it and then their deck rotates and then they don't continue, that what we see on the surface for Standard players who keep up with the format, and that the under the surface, what I guess would call like casual Standard players who see their deck rotate and then quit that format, I am guessing they think that's a big iceberg. And right now, it would appear that they are right, because
I was going to ask, do you think it's been successful?
There are signs. There are various signs that Standard is succeeding in this way. There is, of course, the word from the mothership. They are very happy with Standard. They couldn't be happier with Standard. Ask any of them. This is the best Standard ever. Ask best of 3 players. A lot of best of 3 players are saying it's a great Standard. Bravo. Okay. Love that for you guys. The thing that I think makes more sense to watch to try to get a real idea of what's going on, if you go, a lot of people are saying check your local game store, and people still aren't playing Standard. There still aren't Friday Night Magic with Standard. They're not, it's not really like, I'm not saying everywhere, but I'm saying in small towns where I live and the people I talk to, it's like that Standard is doing better than it was. Obviously coming out of pandemic, it was dead. It's doing better, but nowhere near what it did, I think, back in our paper Magic gaming, Friday Night Magic gaming days. Nowhere like that. And I don't think it ever will be, because Arena took that. Here's the thing. Here is kind of the canary in the coal mine. Standard singles are getting very expensive. And they're sold out on various sites much more than they used to be. That's the thing.
Okay.
If you
That's
look at
how you know.
you look at the price of a screaming nemesis right now, oh my god, that mythic is expensive.
Is that a Duskmon card?
That is a. Let me show you this card. Oh my.
If there's one thing I'm checked out of, it's like recent sets, man. I played a little bit of Bloomburrow, and I actually really enjoyed. People trashed on that limited format, but I had a blast playing Bloomburrow. And of course, I did what I do, which is everyone's like, it's a tribal set. You can only play these couple of 2-color pairs, and I was like, nonsense. 5-color deck all the way down, and I had my fun.
Easy. You farmed the Bloomburrow ladder with that one.
Indeed. All right, Screaming Nemesis. Yeah, this looks like nonsense. Whenever it's dealt damage, does that much to a target. The rest of the game.
A player dealt damage this way can't gain life for the rest of the game.
I mean, this has got to be like an all-time unpopular Commander card, right?
I have never seen this played in Commander.
Really?
No,
I was just thinking
never.
like the politics of this, right? It's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who can't gain life for the rest of this Commander game?
Something like that, I guess. So
maybe these are the small games that I play in my local group.
October 19th, at this point, Duskmorn has been out for about 2 weeks and available. This card was worth $8. This card has sold as high as like $40 for the base version today.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like a common mono red card right now or something?
Yes, it's a common mono red card. It's in all kinds of aggressive decks. The idea, I'm sure you get the gist. Like, you attack them for 3, they go to use a removal spell on it that's not damage based. You can send a shock or a burst lightning, because that's now legal in standard at it. Redirect to opponent, they can't gain life. Life gain is one of the things that people are leaning on to combat the speed of these red cards, because they're faster than they've honestly ever been and more destructive than they've ever been. Monstrous Rage. I mean, if you haven't been on the other side of that card, try it. It's
that is a card.
Wow.
That is a card. Plus, this kind of like the Boros Reckoner text has always been good, right?
Oh, yeah. And speaking of Boros, Boros Charm is now legal for 5 years. Did you hear about Foundations?
Okay, I just heard the name mentioned, but I have no idea what this is. So you're gonna have to school me what's going on here.
Yeah, let's get into it. Foundations is the latest set released for standard. It is standard legal. It is meant to be like an intro level product, and is meant to give people a touchstone so that if they get into a deck built around Foundations cards, they will be there for a long time. And apparently a long time means longer than 3 years.
Oh, it's like a slower rotating subset of cards.
Yeah, they are.
God.
Their plan is to keep Foundations legal for 5 years and then possibly longer.
God.
5 years.
This is what I feel like, CGB. I feel like standard is just like the new Pioneer.
I do too. And if you look at the decks succeeding in Pioneer, they look like standard decks. That's why the format. Yeah, that's why the format is not that exciting, because standard never rotates, and all the good cards in standard make great Pioneer decks. So no wonder Pioneer is like not as popular as people hoped it would be. That
makes sense. That makes sense, especially when you consider the fact that, so Arena came out and you have this whole new generation of Magic players, and none of them know what a Siege Rhino is, right? None of them know what a Bring to Light is. I mean, they just learn what an Eldrazi is, right? So I can imagine them taking a look at Pioneer and being like, why do I care about this format? Especially when all of these cards I'm familiar with, still, playable in standard. So
legal in standard forever, basically. Do any of them know what life is even going to be like in 5 years? They barely see 2 months from now.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh my God. So again, there is evidence that this is succeeding. There is evidence out there that you can point to that says people like this. And I have been the old man yelling at clouds about this for a year. So this is nothing new. And anybody listening to this who's heard me do all this before, I know, I'm aware, but my God, I need to talk to other people who know where we've been, man, because that's what it is. At this age, I need the connection with somebody who knows what we lost. When we had we had booming FNMs, when we had standard formats people love to play, when we had GPs, they're bringing back GP-ish. They're calling it the Spotlight Series. The idea is it's like a GP that starts January 5th is the first one, so that's kind of back.
Okay.
The Pro Tour came back. I don't know if you missed that or if you were around.
That did happen shortly before I left. How's that going? Has it been good?
I mean, the Pro Tour, is it good? I would say for people who want very badly to be on the Pro Tour, I bet it is great for them. The viewership, the attention, the prestige, none of it feels the same. And I'm not, like, the coverage is good. The formats are, it's, kind of, it's obnoxiously easy to predict what the meta will be going in, and there's been very few surprises. But when it has happened, it's been exciting. It's fun when it does happen. But it used to be like the pros set the meta, and now they still do the thing where the meta is basically set by the pros the time the pros are doing it. I don't know, man. Yeah. It doesn't hit the way it used to, and that's sad because I do want to love Pro Magic. I always did. I don't know.
Same.
I don't know how to put a finger on it, but I used to watch every minute of the Pro Tour. And now when it's on, I barely tune into it. Like, I'll check into it every couple of rounds when the VOD playlist goes up on YouTube. I have ambitious ideas. I download the whole playlist thinking on a plane I'll watch this. I end up watching one round and falling asleep. I'm not kidding. Just, I don't know, man. It's not the same. And I don't know how to fix that. I can't even put my finger on what that is.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, sometimes it's, I think all competitive endeavors go through this as well, right? Where sometimes it's a combination of just, how the game was being played. You have certain personalities, you can't have a Michael Jordan every generation, that kind of a thing, So it's just kind of a combination of all of it, I think.
Maybe. Reed Duke won a Pro Tour, and that was awesome to see. Like, a lot of the classic players are still competing, but it doesn't feel the same. You know what? What's strange about it? When I think about what I loved about the Pro Tour, it was kind of these mythical figures, and they've tried to build up stars. There are some that are doing very well. Simon Nielsen's doing insanely well, but it doesn't feel the same. And I think part of it, they never brought the Pro Tour back. They got rid of it. They said they were repackaging it. They said they were. Yeah. I said Pro Tour. I mean, the Hall of Fame.
Oh, Hall of Fame.
Yes, they got rid of the Hall of Fame. They said they were bringing a repackaged version of the Hall of Fame back. They never did. They never did.
Yeah, that's a loss.
It does. It feels like, we used to talk about, we've got a Hall of Famer, and they still say that, when they have a boomer out there, but it's like they're going up against this person who's on the run of their life, surely a first ballot Hall of Famer, they'll be eligible next year, and it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. I feel like the Hall of Fame added something that's missing. And the stakes, right?
Legacy.
Yeah, legacy. Yes. A bigger legacy than just what happens in this one tournament. Yes. Yes. Totally. A through line, a plot. It continues.
Yeah. Well, and I think it just highlights there's a reason why people do this kind of thing, right? There's a reason why it's common in sports and it's common in music and entertainment and stuff, right? I mean, these things do have meaning. And it highlights the fact that we get invested, right? Mm-hmm. It's like somehow we get invested because someone won a Grammy or whatever, or an Oscar, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of it continues the soap opera, right? Because then we all get to say, oh snap, so and so deserved it, right? We get to gossip about it and have our opinions about it and whatever.
Yep. And on a personal side, they do these at Magic Cons now. Now, have you been to a Magic Con?
No, the last big Magic event I went to was you were there as well, GP Vegas or
Yep.
whatever they were
A
calling it.
channel fireball event. It was one of their
Yeah.
last ones. It was
Okay.
like a GP. It was pandemic is finally lifting restrictions. Yeah. That was right before MagicCons. And I think you stepped back from the podcast around the time they were revealing these. So
Okay.
these MagicCons are sweet. They're big conventions, lots of people. They kind of celebrate all the different things in Magic, from casual commander to the art. The vendor hall is huge with all kinds of vendors. There's competitive play for people who want that. There's a ton of things. They're great, honestly. But there's also the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour and Worlds are happening at these MagicCons. They have a section. In some cases, you can walk over and look at them. On others, it's in a sequestered section somewhere nearby. As a content creator who goes to MagicCons as part of my content, I don't get to watch the Pro Tour live anymore. Almost not at all. I miss, and I think there is something wrong with having them right there at MagicCon, because there are so many things that steal focus from them. And if they weren't at MagicCon, I could be at home, doing watch parties. Other content creators could do this as well, could be doing things to really focus on the Pro Tour. I miss being able to focus on a competitive event instead of feeling conflicted to do the other things I have to do as a content creator around MagicCons. So that's another factor. I don't know how much that just affects me or if that affects a lot of people. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad to hear that they're still trying things, and I'm glad to hear that they're still acknowledging that, the gathering part of Magic the Gathering is an important part of the whole equation, right?
It really, really is, yeah.
Yeah, and it is, and one thing that you're reminding me of is that going back to the marketing analogy, the vocal minority is often a minority, and you have to focus on the body of the iceberg, and so hopefully they're keeping an eye on that. So CGB, I wanted to make sure that we got in a classic podcast segment on this show, and so I'm just coming up with this right off the dome.
Okay.
But we've gotten a little bit into this, but I want to get into some gas or ass. Okay. So
it's been a long time since I considered the ramifications of a gas or ass segment on my channel. Oh my goodness. Yeah, editor Libby doesn't know what to do with a gas or ass segment, but I trust her. Go.
All right. I'm busting this. So I'm gonna just lightning round you with some questions about.
Please don't bust the gas or ass segment. Okay. All right.
All right. So CovertGoBlue.
Yes.
Standard gas or ass?
God. My minority boomer opinion, entrenched in current 3 to 5 years standard and trying to figure out how to make content every day, particularly for the best of one format where I have throughout my career thrived. I have to give it a full ass. A full ass. Dude, it's so tough. I know what the good decks are, and creating decks kind of apart from them is so frustratingly hard to do, because I only play against the same things every day, and it's soul sucking. It is. So yeah, I have to give it a full ass, and I'm sorry to my standard bros and gals out there who expect standard content every day. I really am. I don't take this lightly. It hurts to say it, but it's tough for me right now, man. It's tough.
Well, service with a smile. I haven't played it, but I'm gonna give it an ass as well. All right. Next up, Explorer, gas or ass?
So I had to play some Explorer recently. Thank you to the official Magic the Gathering Arena YouTube channel for sponsoring me to do things I wouldn't otherwise do. Money has a powerful effect on humans. It's kind of amazing. Explorer, gas or ass? Is there something in the middle that's just complete ambivalence?
That's not what this segment's about, Kovac.
I'm not mad that it exists. I'm not mad at the state of it. I don't feel like I lost something the way I do about standard. There's kind of that bitterness of what we had before is not what we have today that I feel in standard. I never got that in Pioneer Explorer because it was like there. It was exciting when they were banning stuff like every month while they were developing the format. Then they had the first big paper format. Then COVID shut it all down and it went away to a place called MTGO that I've never visit. So like I'm mostly ambivalent to it. I'm going to give it an ass because I don't enjoy playing it, but I'm not mad that it exists. I'm not disappointed in the existence of Explorer, and I wish the format and its players, I wish them well.
Yeah, the personal ass.
the very personal ass.
You know, just from afar, from where I'm sitting, I'm going to give it a gas. It looks like a cool... If I was coming back to Arena, that would be the format that I'd be focused on. And so, yeah, it made me feel excited about Magic again, just seeing it. So, okay, next on the list.
So will you play it a little? Will you play it a little? Will you promise the crafties to play a little Magic?
Okay, all right, okay. Maybe a video will be released at some point, or in the very least, some silly opinion expressed on X.com.
Yeah. Maybe we could
Don't
even
get me started on X.com.
So we could get a little. We could maybe catch an Arjuna and reel him in, reel him back in.
A wild Arjuna. Yeah, I'd like to think I'm worth some bonus points. All right, next, historic gas or ass.
So historic is interesting because it got blown up by Modern Horizons 3, which its entirety was released on Arena, which is new for a Modern Horizon set, and is obviously OP, just busted. So they did some interesting things with historic. They've nerfed, because they can do that there, they've nerfed various cards to keep the energy deck from being overly insane, and they pre-banned the fetch lands when they launched them on Arena. Historic has its own identity, and it does keep chugging along as a played format. I think it's the second most played format on Arena. Yeah, that's right. It is the second most played format on Arena. We're not looking at limited, but just the constructed format. Standard number 1, historic number 2. Yeah, I'm still not excited about looking into it. It feels weird to me to have cards like the fetch lands available on your client where they're probably at their best, and then just not play them, just keep them banned. I know, and right? I don't know if that's I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me. Man, this is going to be a tough one. I have to give historic kind of an ass just because I don't understand its identity. I don't understand why it's there. I feel like I understand the other format's identity, and historic, I think if it disappeared, obviously a lot of people would be sad. The bottom of the iceberg actually likes historic, but I don't get why. For me, it's not there. For me, I don't understand why we still do this.
I mean, just the kind of weird mutant catch-all kind of drippings from the other format that it always was, right?
I guess so, yeah. The dumpster, right? The dumpster for your old cards. Yeah.
The dumpster.
But if you love historic and you're listening to this, like, let me know. What do you play in historic? Maybe I am looking for a place where I can feel something again. And I'll try anything. I don't think Explorer is it for me because it's too standard like, but it's been so long since I played historic. If you have a historic deck and you're willing to type a little in a comment, let me know a historic strategy you think I'd like. I'll listen. I'm listening.
All right. Well, an ass from the sensei. It's not looking good so far.
It's a lot of ass, dude.
I know. Which I don't know, depending on what you like, could be a plus. All right. Timeless, gas or ass?
Timeless was really cool. And then they put in the evoke elementals, and I got griefed so many times in the first week that happened that it turned me off potentially permanently. Like, I have not recovered my desire to play Timeless, but I'm going to give Timeless gas just because I'm glad a format like this is stupid, and it's really expensive, and it's a really acquired taste, but it should exist. It should be there. The place where everything goes. The place where you can try it all. The place where nothing is banned by the mommy state. You know, it's like, it's all on the table, baby. If you never cast Channel If you are a Magic player, there is a good chance you've never cast Channel into Ulamog in your life. And if you wake up today and you have the wild cards, yep, go forth and see if you can make it happen. Why not? If you've never show and telled out Omniscience on turn 2 or whatever, like, today's your day. Give it a shot. I think that we've lost a lot of that in Magic. It's like vintage MTGO maybe, but I think a lot of like the full exploration of the cards and the way Magic could be played has been lost to time. And I think Timeless is well named because it gives you the chance.
You know, I mean, I'm going to give Timeless a gas because it does. It reminds me of the Magic of yesteryear, right? And exactly when I think about, I want everyone to have access to that legacy, right? It's because there was something, okay, here's something that I remember about Magic that made me love Magic was that Magic felt dangerous, right? You played a game of Magic and you were like, something nasty might happen to me, you know, and all the cards had this nasty art and you know, and it was really, and it was like back in the day, you'd crack a pack of Magic and it did almost feel like you were opening like a tome, right? Or you were opening like what do they call that? The
Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon, exactly. It just kind of, and the cards kind of looked old and
no, it wasn't for the rule followers. It wasn't for the straight and narrow. It was for those who dare to be different, you know?
Exactly. You know, you really, sometimes you were playing against your friend and you felt like you were just reaching into that chest and just ripping out that beating heart, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the iciest of cold control decks and the comboiest of the combo and the most degenerate things. And your friend would channel fireball you and you never knew that such a thing could happen, right? And, you know, and you'd say, no, and you'd go ask your older brother if that was a thing that could be done in Magic. And, it really was. It was kind of dangerous. Magic was a dangerous place. And so I'm glad that that's still providing places where something like that can happen.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I've got a couple more to go here. Alchemy, gas or ass?
Dude. Alchemy.
He's not feeling it.
No. Alchemy today, if they were able to basically erase their first year of work, if you want to call it work, if they were able to erase the first year of Alchemy, there are going to be people who will hate Alchemy no matter what. There is nothing they can do right when it comes to digital only mechanics and cards. There will always be people who will do nothing but hate Alchemy on every video I make if it has an Alchemy card in it. Fine. Current Alchemy is gas. Alchemy, the ability to, I think it's kind of sad that they actually banned Monstrous Rage because they saw no way to nerf it. It's hilarious to me. Yeah,
that's kind of an indictment, isn't it?
I know, it's insane. It feels like there were so many options, but they were just like, yeah, can't fix it. Don't want to change it for other formats like historic. So banned in Alchemy.
Wow.
That is like kind of a black mark that, are they really trying? And maybe that's a bad conclusion to jump through. Maybe they did really try, but it does feel that way when you see it. You kind of have to snicker. The whole point was that they wouldn't ban cards. But the card design for the Alchemy only cards and the fact that it is still on a 2-year rotation, the Alchemy cards have been designed since, like, we'll say this calendar year, have been great. They've been really fun and cool. And when I'm playing Brawl, there are 2 things I'm looking at to determine if my deck has a power level worthy of the Brawl queue. One is Modern Horizons. The other is Alchemy. Like, do I have enough Alchemy cards in here? And and that's part of what I think makes Brawl really great for me is I can find an Alchemy card that fits this deck that I know other people aren't going to dig for, that they're not going to be looking for, because the Alchemy cards are insanely powerful and they're good in all kinds of different ways and themes that people don't often think about. And every time I have collected the check to play Alchemy this year, I've actually had more fun than I had in Standard. The thing that keeps my channel from being Alchemy, frankly, is those people who will complain and will not give it a chance. It makes me very sad. It frustrates me. I don't like seeing the comments. I don't like hearing the comments. I don't like anything to do with that. It takes the fun out of it for me, so I don't make content with it. But I've enjoyed everything I've done playing Alchemy, and I've enjoyed the cards.
Okay, well, I'm glad that, a couple of years on, maybe it seems like it's finally finding its footing.
Dude, I still wish they could just delete Specialize, if you remember that. Like the 6 different versions of one card.
Yeah, I know. What was that nonsense? Yeah.
So bad, dude.
Yeah. Ooh, that was happening right when I retired, and I'm really glad I didn't have to deal with any of that.
Oh, yeah, you left right before that happened because I made solo videos just raging about that. There were cards that were using the same art as the paper card, but doing entirely different things, and not like slightly changed mechanics, entirely different name and activity on the card, but the art was the same. I was raging about that. That's Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. Just kill it. It would be better.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right?
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So last one, best for last.
I know what it is.
Historic Brawl, gas or ass. I mean, I feel like I know what you're going to say, but I would be interested to hear you expound a little bit more on the format.
Love to. I was at this place with Brawl around May when Modern Horizons 3 first released. That was pretty bad, because that was a power injection, and I wasn't sure the format could survive it. The power injection was insane, and it was an adjustment period of just getting used to, okay, every card that is 3 mana has to be broken or it doesn't make sense in your deck, and so on. And it's like every deck needs this many 0-cost cards, and the kind of the levels of interaction and where they fit into the format and what you had to run to have a good Brawl deck changed completely with Modern Horizons 3, and it's continued to change with the release of sets since then. Once you adapt to that speed and power level, you get to do really cool things in the format. And it is still a format where you can build a lot of different types of strategies and have it work. The singleton nature of the format makes for a variety of both cards that you have to use, deck building challenges that it's not like just slapping together a standard deck. It can take a long time to build a solid Brawl list. And unlike any other like standard deck, I usually don't get it even close to right on the first pass. Like usually I can throw together a deck, it'll win some games, and maybe I tweak 1 or 2 of the removal spots as I go, or the land count goes up or down by a couple. In Brawl, you can play a deck for a month and still be refining, because getting all the right spots is very difficult. It takes a long time to see the cards and actually feel if they're on the power level you're looking for. It takes practice. And the best thing about Brawl, all these challenges, the crazy power level, all the different cards you get to play, all the different strategies you get to use. The best thing by far, it's the best of one format that they have made for Arena. And the reason for that is you get information in the pregame. You get to know what colors, and you can insinuate what strategy your opponent is playing by the face-up commander in the command zone that you see the moment you are match made, which means that when you mulligan, you know whether or not it's a good hand to have 3 removal spells or not. It is, once you've done this enough times, it is so miserable to play best of one, mulligan for a hand that can beat mono red, and play against a creatureless deck for the next 20 minutes. It's infuriating. It's infuriating because you know you have to do it. You're playing the numbers game, but the numbers game will just stab you in the back and you feel like you had no good answers. Like if I had kept my first hand, I would have lost to 60% of my opponents, but I didn't. So I made the right call numbers wise, but then I play a non-game against a deck that would never beat one of those decks, but just exists to hurt me. Frustrating.
That's right. So then you end up playing avatar roulette, right?
Yes.
That's kind of what it comes down to.
Yes, exactly. You're guessing what the avatar means, and the higher the rank goes, the more likely you're being misled. And it's a pain in the ass, man. I hate it. I'm over it. I've been doing it for years, and I'm very over it. I don't know why they can't like lock in certain avatars to a deck archetype or colors and give you that type of information in best of one, because it makes it a better format if you have some idea. Not, you don't know the whole 99, and you can swerve people. I played mono red Yorion in standard. It was awesome. You can play like Teferi, but it's tempo Teferi with like 30 creatures. I love these tactics in Brawl, but it adds something. It gives you something. It gives you information, and you can feel smarter playing it. And I can't believe this is another marketing thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe how many people leave comments upset and refuse to play Brawl because there isn't a ranked queue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They think it would keep people from early scooping. Trust me, when I get out turn 2 Grizzlebrand, you should scoop. Okay, it's not an early scoop. That is how it's supposed to be.
Appropriate scoop. Yeah.
Or the turn 1 Thoughtseize that reveals the bad keep. If they want to scoop, hey, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You just queue up, get another game. It's fine. But like, dude, what does a rank in? Like, there are so many ways that they mess with the ranked algorithm in Arena. Not to mention, they try to make it so anybody playing enough Magic can get to Mythic, and they so heavily favor like monocolored strategies and all this. Like, getting Mythic, it used to like mean something early on, but I think everybody who's played Arena for a good amount of time gets it now that Mythic is bashing your head against the wall an appropriate amount of times. That's what it is. And Brawl doesn't feel that way. You get your dailies done, and you get to do it in a lot of cool ways. I don't know, man. I can't imagine not trying a format because there isn't a ranked queue. But I guess that's some of the iceberg, right? People who I do not understand, who must see rank go up.
It's really interesting. I've noticed, I remember you mentioning this back in the day as well. There's just some quantum shift that happens in your brain when your match has stakes, right? And especially when every match that you play has stakes. And you start to play conservatively. You start to play a deck that you know is going to perform. You start to feel worried about taking the new thing for a spin. And as much as you might, get up in the morning, eat your Wheaties, look in the mirror and tell yourself you're not going to do that, but you still do, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually think that there is something sacred about the Brawl queue being a quote unquote casual queue. I think it matches the format really well. And I can see why, because obviously everyone wants to be like, yeah, well, mine's bigger than yours, right? Like that's a very basic hierarchical thing that happens in the human brain.
Where does that come from?
Right? I know. Gas or ass. But yeah, I agree with you. I think I don't think it's needed, and I actually think it's good that it doesn't exist.
Yeah. I think it keeps a lot of things from getting banned or hated out. Even if you don't like Mana Drain, I think that it's good to have places to play this stupid stuff.
Well, and here's the annoying thing about that specifically is one of the things I've noticed about the Brawl queue is the number of, what's that stupid, oh my God. It's that stupid Hobbit. It's like a one-drop
Delighted
Hobbit.
Halfling.
Yeah. The amount of times they have either that or the Allosaurus Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Or the land, right?
Yeah,
the land
Cavern of Souls, yep.
I mean, it's these stupid green decks. They're going to have one of them, I mean, turn 1 always, right?
Yeah, or you can mulligan for it when you see that blue player across from you, right?
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's one thing that remains on Arena throughout the years is it always seems to know exactly how to throw you something that's going to tilt you maximum.
It sure does. It sure does. Glory to that. I know you have given me a glorious 90 minutes of your time, but I don't know when I'm going to get time with you again. Hopefully sooner than 2 years, right?
Let's do it.
I really want to get your opinion on what's kind of been the hot issue for the last couple months.
Okay, lay it on me.
Okay. next year's standard. Have you heard what the schedule for next year's standard is?
No idea.
So this is going to be news to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely news.
There's going to be 3 sets that are going to be standard legal that are based in the Magic the Gathering universe. One is
I don't like where you're going with this. Okay.
Just ride. Just get in the car.
Okay.
So Aether Drift is a death race set across 3 different planes.
Okay.
There is a new Tarkir set, a return to the plane of Tarkir.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's exciting. And there is a Space Odyssey type set, space in the multiverse, the Magic multiverse. So, yep, sci-fi space set, Tarkir, death race across 3 different planes. What do you think of those?
Well, okay. I mean, to me, this sounds like middle controversy, low controversy, high controversy, right? That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like that kind of. I've noticed that they like to do this, where they're like, "We're going to give you a slap in the face with space, but then we're going to go back to Tokyo," right?
Yeah.
Like, can we supplicate you with that? One of my questions is the Aether Drift. Like, what's the flavor of that? Like, you say race, I'm thinking pod racing, but like what?
Some of the art's been revealed, and you have Chandra riding a bike that looks inspired by Tron.
Oh, okay. So is it like we have like 2 out of 3 futuristic sets?
Yeah, there's
right?
also a Mad Max looking ride.
Okay. It's Mario Kart.
I'm waiting to hear that there's like Fast and Furious like skin tie-ins like there was Transformers and Brothers War. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I think it would be cool if they went all out and they also had like horses, you know? Like I think it'd be cool.
There is a chariot type thing being drawn by some kind of a beast that is in the art as well. Yeah.
No, that feels very Magic to me, right? Maybe we have like some fish that's swimming through space and dragging a thing or something. I mean, that would be more exciting to me. Although it does kind of add to the Mario Karting of the whole thing.
No. Maybe that is what it really is some kind of like Mario Karting here. I've got some key art I'll try to drop or link if it lets me. But yeah.
I mean, okay, so one of the things I'm struggling with is, and I've watched it happening, is kind of the memification of Magic, right?
Yes.
And I joke about Mario Kart, but I actually think, Mario Kart was kind of like, oh, okay, this is interesting. I'm actually getting a little bit of like Streets of New Capenna kind of it is almost like a mix of Streets and Neon Dynasty or something.
Definitely feels futuristic-y though.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, there's definitely some Mario Kart in here. I'm looking at the top middle. It's like some big like vehicle with an eyeball on it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I think like Mario Kart was a place, or like Smash Brothers was a place where Nintendo kind of gave themselves a license to kind of meme a little bit, you know? They were like, this is like anything could happen, right? We're mixing our IPs, we're mixing our franchises, we're having, 2 characters who'd never be seen in the same, we've got Link and Samus Aran. In the same room together, right?
It was always ridiculous.
It's kind of a violation of the fundamental conceit of what they've been doing. And they know that people are going to enjoy it, and it's all in good fun, and it's a good time, right? And I feel like the Magic version of that was like War of the Spark, right? Was there like, how does it feel to have all of these different planeswalkers from these different planes coming together to fight a common enemy or whatever it was they were doing, right?
That was like the Avengers move, right?
It was like the Avengers, exactly. And it was a bit, there was like some kind of fun mix-up going on, and I think that that's all fine. I think where it starts to get weird is when all of a sudden you have like Mortal Kombat coming into Smash Brothers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or when you have
Strange.
like
Other
yeah,
IPs?
you're
What?
playing a Mario game, and all of a sudden there's Aliens versus Predator. You know, it's like
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
you
Yeah, that's
you
weird.
found like a little mustard bubble in your Coke or something, and it's just it's just
Doesn't
not
taste
quite
right?
right.
Okay. Well, the people know. They're in on the joke if they're entrenched and have listened to me for a while. So I told you 3 of the standard legal sets for next year.
Yeah.
There are 3 more.
Okay. I'm bracing myself.
So that's 6 total standard legal sets coming out next year. The other 3 are all universes beyond, and they will be standard legal.
All right, I'm really leaving this time. I mean,
Yeah, all universes beyond complete sets from now on, like what Lord of the Rings was, where it has the full product lineup, will be standard legal. Secret layers that are only secret layers will not be standard legal, but the Final Fantasy set will be the first one. It's going to be standard legal. They have.
I do have to say, if they're gonna do a crossover, it might as well be Final Fantasy. They scored a couple of points with me there.
Okay, they have Pro Tour Final Fantasy on the schedule.
I mean, lest you forget, my literal username in Arena is Chocobo Canyon. So, all right, they played to the judge on that.
They're trying to get you back.
Yeah.
All right. The second Universes Beyond set coming out next year, fully standard legal, is Spider-Man. Discuss.
Okay. I mean, could we get any more meme? Are they going to have a card which is literal 3 Spider-Mans pointing at each other? I mean,
probably.
Okay. Okay, here's the real question. Is Zendaya going to be in it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That would get your vote. That would get your money.
I don't know
foil Zendaya
or not. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Alternate art, maybe.
They haven't announced the 6th set. They think it's very special. It's a very big deal. They had on the schedule. They had Lorwyn. They delayed Lorwyn for this.
Oh, snap. Okay. All right. Well, that's telling. All right. I want to take turns guessing what the final one could be. And I'm going to kick it off with Care Bears.
Okay. If you're talking about wrong answers only. Yeah, we're not doing
wrong answers.
We're not doing Lorwyn. We're doing Care Bears. Yeah. Okay. Okay, buddy. Game of Thrones.
Oh, snap. Okay. Now that would actually be kind of on brand, wouldn't it?
It at least would feel universe adjacent, which is why I'm sure I'm wrong.
Yeah. You're going too tame with that one. All right. I'm going with Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
And other cereals.
Lucky Charms and other cereals.
We're going to have Snap, Crackle, and Pop. It's going to be Kellogg's, right? It's going to be the Kellogg's set. We're gonna have Tony the Tiger.
Oh God! Why don't we just have Universes Beyond Apple? You know, we can have their new AI robots. We can have the original iPhone. We can have iPhone 2, iPhone 3, iPhone 4, iPhone 5. We can have the original Mac. Yeah, why not? The Lisa. We can go way back. Okay, we can. Man. Yeah, why not? Let's. Dude, what's missing here? Can we have the fast food set? You know, McDonald's versus Burger King at last.
Oh baby, yeah. Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
So they have announced. They've announced that half. This is the way it will be for the foreseeable. Half of all standard sets will be Universes Beyond.
Okay.
How you doing?
Man, I mean, didn't they like tell us they weren't going to do this or something? Weren't they like pretending at least that they weren't going to do this?
That's
and
right.
We all knew that this is where it was going to end up. And it just like Okay, people have been saying since the beginning of time, this is going to be the thing that kills Magic, whether it was Planeswalkers or whether it was stopping the Pro Tour or whatever it was, right? This is going to be the thing that kills Magic. That is my worry for this, right?
Actually,
I
like,
mean,
it could be
I'm
real
not
this
memeing.
time.
I'm not memeing like this. This is the thing that makes me think Magic is doomed, right? Because it's different. It's like it's the erosion of the spiritual heart of what Magic is, and you can only dilute an IP so much before you lose the IP, right? So, I mean, it's like imagine if they did this in World of Warcraft, right? I mean, imagine there's, like if you think about other kind of franchises or IPs that have been around a long time, like it's a dangerous game. It's to me, it very much feels like you're sacrificing, your future profits for your quarter three profits this year, kind of a thing. Like that's what it says to me.
That's what public companies do.
That is what they do, man. And this just seems like more boardroom BS to me is what it seems like. And yeah, I am worried. I'm worried.
So I thought that what you said about Mario Kart was very telling, because I think you're right. I think they stopped seeing Magic as its own world and started focusing on I mean, you could also say Fortnite is very much like this, but Mario Kart, Smash Brothers are very much, it became memeing it, making it a meme of itself. Isn't it funny that we can cram all of these things in here? Isn't it funny that you see these things that don't make any sense? And I think that it definitely is in its own way. It's irreverent to what came before. And like, I think they know that. And you're trying to figure out what's the big iceberg again. Is it that all these people who like these other IPs could and should be Magic players, and they just need their loved IP as Magic cards to push them over the edge? Or is your iceberg people that love Magic because it's Magic, because it's not these things?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a few years ago when we got to see all the new collector treatments and they made 1 billion sets, and now every month there's a new product release because it wasn't always this way, and the Pro Tour got de-emphasized and Commander got mega emphasized and Secret Layers arrived. Like, all that change came from an era that I would call the quest for peak Magic. A different leadership team said, well, we've been making this money for years, but have we ever found out how much we can make if we just ramp it to the moon? And they did. They went for peak Magic. This is the move for peak Universes Beyond. What is too much? They can't know if they don't look. I would like to think that this is temporary, and that right now there are a lot of companies that see what happened with Lord of the Rings and see what happened with some of the other ones like Doctor Who Fallout and Assassin's Creed, and they want their product in this ecosystem. They want this revenue source. And so I think that there are more people knocking on their door more now than there ever was, and that they are trying to jump it while it's hot and get paid. I'm hoping that doesn't mean that we're going to do this forever. I do want it to scale back. So maybe that happens. They have talked about maybe they go back and lower that schedule in the future. It's scary though, because if Murders at Karlov Manor doesn't sell, but Final Fantasy does, what they're going to want. You know what the boardroom's going to want.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess the only other way I can get behind this, what if the Tarkir set is amazing and we buy the holy shit out of it? Like, can we counter this with supporting our own IP as longtime Magic players? And can they counter this the design team by making a great Magic set with great lore. Because let's be honest, the lore has kind of gone memey too.
Yeah, I mean, that let's pause on that point for a moment, because I think that also bears discussion, right? Is you could say that it's an erosion of quality by dilution, or you could say that there has been an erosion of quality by just decay, right?
Yes, they don't have to do the lore for a Spider-Man set or a Final Fantasy set. It's already done. The lore team only has 3 sets to focus on this year instead of 5 or 6.
Right. So I think it is a really good point. And let's not forget, I mean, this is something that I've talked about before, which is that Magic has always struggled to get an IP that was capable of reaching outside of itself, right? So one of the ways that you judge the strength of an IP is, does someone else want to pick it up, right? It's, like, do people want to see it on the side of a Coke bottle, right? Or do they want to see it on their breakfast cereal? Do they want to, do they want to see a Monopoly version with that IP, right? That's how you know that you've built a really strong IP, is that it can reach out. And so in a way, it's kind of an indictment of Magic that they feel that there's a stronger value in these other IPs than in their own IP. And so it's true. It's kind of it's a two-pronged thing. It's like, if they want to build a strong internal IP, they actually have to invest in that, and they actually have to take a risk. And I think that this is one of the reasons why a lot of music sounds the same these days. A lot of, why movie franchises are making, Avengers Endgame 3 or whatever, right? Is that they're like, we don't want to roll the dice on a new thing when we know that this other thing sells. But I do think, I hope this is true, that for Magic to survive in the long run, they do have to still hire good writers to come up with their own internal IP, and they actually have to deliver on that. And I don't know. I don't know if they can, man. I don't know if they can.
I don't know if they're going to take this as an opportunity to meet that challenge, or just a different schedule, and not realize, like, kind of that we are fighting for the soul of Magic here. Are we going to be Fortnite, or are we going to be something of our own? A lot of people a lot of boardroom people like the money Fortnite makes. They're not going to stop looking for it.
They sure do. And I think so. Another iceberg thing that you and I have to remember, right? People in our generation, is that we have a nostalgic attraction to the Magic of the 90s, right? And for us, that was peak Magic.
Yeah.
And, we have to remember that, they're not making any more people in the world who are our age, but they sure are making more people in the world who are, coming into the IP, right?
Yep.
They're making, more people who weren't alive then, or who don't remember that, right? And so, there's a certain way in which maybe at some point you and I just have to accept that we are the tip of the iceberg, right? And that our interests don't represent the whole of Magic. And I suppose that's one of the beautiful things about Magic, is that it's big enough that a bunch of different people can feel like they're the target audience and have very little in common.
Yep.
And maybe that is a good thing, and maybe that is emblematic of the strength ultimately of the game. But I hope in the very least that as this is moving forward, they will periodically, like this is what I want, CGB. I want Magic sets that are the Mandalorian. That's what I want.
Maybe.
Like, it's so, and this is what I mean, is that the Mandalorian, it was new, it was in universe, and it was like a love letter to Star Wars.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it was made by a team that really they put everything into it, right? They wanted that thing to be a condensed shot of real Star Wars. It wasn't, they weren't like focus grouping it. They weren't like, what'll the kids say? They weren't, like trying to put Ewoks in it just to make it more palatable. They were like really trying to make something great. And I think they did. And so I want for Magic to do that, right? I want for them to say, okay, like, how do we write a love letter to everything that made Magic great? How do we bring this back in a way which is both exciting to new people and has a reverence for the lore? And I think that is possible. And I think The Mandalorian showed that it could be done. I mean, heck, I think that show was better than either the prequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy, right? I mean, I think it was
when we're talking about season 1, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of the best things that's happened to Star Wars, and so that is possible. And I just hope that Magic is sometimes anyway trying to make The Mandalorian.
Well, this is such a monkey's paw because they're about to announce Secret Lair, the Mandalorian.
Is that for real?
No. You can have that whole conversation and like they'll clip it and then somebody will be like, what a great idea. We should make the Mandalorian. And that's what you get. You get Universes Beyond set, the Mandalorian.
Who doesn't want to have Grogu in that commander deck? I mean, come on.
I counter with my Schmeagol commander deck, and this is Magic now. Well, hey, we could talk, I'm sure, for a very long time. But yes, honestly, man, I haven't gotten to talk to you in years. This was so much fun to do. And if you guys enjoyed it, you stayed this long in the episode, I'm sure you did. Leave a comment and help me convince this guy to come back on maybe a little more often. I will say, honestly, if I talk to you tomorrow, that couldn't be too soon. If I talk to you in 2 years, that couldn't be too soon. I'll take what I can get. It's always a pleasure to have you. Anything to say on your way out?
I just wanted to say the same thing, man. It literally feels like we just picked up from yesterday. I feel like you and I could get 2 hours of fun talking about just about anything. So, I just wanted to thank you for having me. I wanted to thank your audience and the dojo. I don't know if that's still a lingo that you're using. The cool kids, as it were.
The Mesa Falcons. I'll tell you the story sometime.
Okay. All right. Maybe the next time. But I just wanted to thank everyone for, putting up with me. I've always been kind of a moonlighter on this channel. And so I just wanted to appreciate, everyone who's kind of had the willingness to open their hearts to me in any amount. And then, of course, for those that I don't need to ask permission from, the crafties, the denizens of the Craft Nation, the Knights of Arjuna, still out there, just still rocking, trying to make Simic a thing. I just wanted to say I have not forgotten any of you. You are still in my heart. And, I'm not kidding. I go back and I listen to the ArenaCraft podcast all the time. And partially because I'm really proud of it, but it's also it's like comfort food for me. You know what I mean? It's like whether it's that show you keep watching or, that whatever it is, right? Everyone has their version of that kind of thing that helps them sleep at night or whatever. And the ArenaCraft podcast has actually been one of those things for me. So, and I think a part of that is just because I love the community and it just brings me back really good memories. And that was a really happy time in my life.
How did we end things back then? Did you said a thing, right?
Yeah, well, we were doing like shout outs to find me here and
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. There's the thing. There's the one more thing. It's like
well, there is. Well, you have a catchphrase, right? So okay, I'm gonna set it up. Okay, well, we'll tee it up. All right. He's holding his breath. I better be quick. All right. Crafties, go out there, be brave, be bold. Don't let standard get you down. And know that in all of the universes beyond, there will always be a place for furrowed bow magic. And with that, Covert Go Blue.
Later, crafties.